Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from the Meadowlands Racetrack here on Saturday evening. It is the 1st of October 2022. Going to look at all the races on tonight's program from the Big M, but before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Kit 5 for more selections for race courses around the world, and I mean it around the world. I say it's 50-50 that this card goes forward. We are going to get a lot of rain here in the New York City area, so it's, hopefully the rain goes a little towards the end of the night, so they can maybe possibly fit in this card. But I do think we might have a soft turf course if they do run it. But let's get to the action. Starting off with the first race, which is an allowance optional claimer, purse $50,000, race for 3-year-olds and upwards. Never won 2 races of the main claiming starter race. We have a field here. Let's see, a field of 8 horses heading to the lawn. The distance of ground of 1,000 meters or 5 furlongs of the Meadowlands turf course. 1,000 meters, 5 furlongs. The portable rails are up tonight at 17 feet. So just keep that in mind. My top selection here, I'm going to go take the number 7 horse, Bam Bam Blue. I'm going to go 7-3-1-5 in the superfecta. 7-3-1-5 super. Top selection is 7 horse, Bam Bam Blue. 10-year-old gelding by Curlin here. Patrick McBurney trains one. Julio Rondon or Jeriel Rondon gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came 31st July at Monmouth. 5.5 furlongs on the green stuff and allowance raise 59,000. And the horse won by length. He had a little bit of a wide trip, but he had the speed to win that day. He quickened up nicely, and he held on to a very nice victory. An all-around good race there. Coming to these quality horses shouldn't be a problem. I like the speed from the outside post draw. I think he could really run a good race. 2 back ran the 4th of July at Monmouth, about 5.5 and allowance race 57,000, and he finished second by a length that day. He had a bit of a weird trip. He had to steady a few times. He closed up a little bit late, but he still, with a better trip, he probably would have won there. And then a claiming 22,000 at Monmouth, about 5.5 on the 5th of June. First start in 3 months. He won that day by a half length, way down the class ladder, a little bit wide, but he closed up well from mid pack. He has some pace, or he come from mid pack. 7-2, I'm going to use him on the ticket. So to recap my selection for the opener from the Meadowlands, let's take the 7 horse Bam Bam Blue, 7-3. 1-5 in the superfecta. The second event from the Big M, it is a maiden special weight, purse $50,000, races for Jersey bred maidens, fillies, mares, 3-year-olds and upwards. We have a field here of 10 horses heading to the lawn. The distance of ground of 1,700 meters or 1 mile and 1/16 on the Meadowlands turf course. 1,700 meters, 1 mile 1/16. My top selection, I'm going to go take the 2 horse Pastino's Prophecy. Let's go 2-10-6-7 in the superfecta. 2-10-6-7 super. Top selection, 2 horse Pastino's Pastino's Prophecy. 3-year-old filly by Il Pastino. Kim Einhorn trains one, gets run down up in the saddle. The horse's most recent outing came 28th of August at Monmouth. Mile 16th in the main special weight, and the horse finished 3rd by 3 3/4 lengths that day. Had a little bit of a tough trip back on the backstretch that day, but he closed up well late. He ran okay for that run. Coming here, a little lesser quality horses could be forwardly paced. I think he'd get a better trip and win against these horses. 2 back ran at Monmouth on the 9th of July, mile 16th in a state-bred maiden special weight for 67. He finished second by 4 3/4 lengths. Again, he was a little bit wide, but the winner was just much the best. And then prior to that, the Meadowlands, at Monmouth, mile 16th in the maiden special weight. Finishing second by 2 1/4 lengths. He was just stupidly wide, never really got going. He just kind of hung a little bit by the need of the race there. He started once here at the Meadowlands last fall, 5 furlongs in a main special weight for state breds, where he finished 3rd by 8 lengths, and he really was closing up well late. The 2 in front of him weren't much the best, but he showed some potential. Coming here today, I think he's run the best buyers out of anybody, and I think he's going to sit on a good run. In the pick 5 and the pick 6, he's going to be my single on the program. So to recount my selection for the second from the Meadowlands, let's take the 2 horse Pastino's Prophecy, 2-10-6-7 super. We'll single that 2 in the multi-race. The third race from the Big M now, it is a claiming event, going for a purse of $23,500. Race for fillies, mares, 3-year-olds and upwards. Not 1-2 races here. We have a field here of 9 horses going 1,000 meters or 5 furlongs on the turf course. I'm going to go with the 9 horse, Walks Like a Lady, 9-6-5-1 in the superfecta. Pardon me, can't speak. Yesterday I could barely stay awake. Today I can't speak. 9651 Super. Top selection 9 horse walks like a lady. 4-year filly by Vancouver. Sarah Nagel trains. Gets run down up in the saddle again. The horse's most recent outing came 17th of June at Laurel. That came at 5.5 furlongs and a main claim 25,000. Finally getting to the winner's circle, winning by 1.5 lengths that day. The horse sat back early, slowly moved his way up. Had a good long stretch battle with that long stretch run in, but he got the job done off the bench. It was a very good race. Coming here to the Meadowlands, lesser quality horses, has forwardly pace, could grind it out, and I think the horse could find the winner's circle again. The first star on turf and the final star of 2021 came at Gulfstream, 11th September, 1 mile in the green stuff in the main special weight. He finished 7 by 7.25 lengths that day. Horrible beginning, got quarter horse to the front end, and then the speed just didn't hold up. He completely hit it. It wasn't the day to win. And then at Gulfstream, 3/4 and a main optional 50. He finished 4th by 18 3/4 lengths that day and just kind of stalked, but never really got going. I do think she runs the better races on turf. She's back to it today at 7-2. We're going to use her on the ticket. So to recap my selection for the third from the Meadowlands, let's take the 9 horse walks like a lady, 9651 in the superfecta. The fourth race now from the Big M. It's a claiming event going for a purse of $19,000. Races for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upwards. Never won a race since April the 1st, or never went through races. Claim price $5,000. We have a field of 9 horses going 1,700 meters or a mile 1/16 on the turf course. I'm going to take the 6 horse Volator as a top selection. Let's go 6-9-3-7 in the superfecta. 6-9-3-7 super. Top selection 6 horse Volator. 5-year-old mare by First Samurai. Hugh McMahon trains one. Nick Juarez gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came the 18th of September at Pimlico, mile 16th in Lounge Race 56,000, and the horse finished 5th by 5 lengths that day, and he just never really showed up. He stalked, but never could get the good turn of foot. It was a very tough race, way down the class ladder to the claiming 5 here today, lower end claimers. I think he could get to the winner's circle today with the serious clash relief. 2 back ran 3rd of August at Penn Nat, mile 70 on the lawn and in Lounge Race 29,000. He finished 7 by 7 3/4 lengths that day, and again he was just kind of wide and just couldn't quicken up. You know, he showed potential for the race before, but that day he just didn't show anything. And then the 1st July Penn National, mile 70 in a Lounge Race 28,000, finishing 2nd by 2.5 lengths that day. He had a very wide trip, but he was closing up well late from the back of the pack. He showed potential there. And then at Laurel, 1 mile Lounge Race 49,000 early June, he finished 6 by 2 3/4 lengths and didn't really show up there. His races in the fall of 2021 weren't bad at all. He wasn't winning, but he was facing some very tough horses way down the class ladder today. Looking for his first victory since early 2021. I think he could find the winner's circle here today. So to recap my selections for the fourth in the Meadowlands, let's take the 6 horse Volator, 6-9-3-7 in the superfecta. The 5th race now from the Big M. It's a mating claiming event going for per $16,500. Race for 3-year-olds and upwards. We have a field of 7 horses going 1,000 meters or 5 furlongs on the turf course. By the way, they're going for that $10,000 claiming price. My top selection, I'm going to go get the 6 horse, get them digits as a top selection. 6-1-2-4 for me in the superfecta. 6-1-2-4 super, top selection 6 horse, get them digits. This 3-year-old gelding by Dialed In. Ferris Allen III trains one. Jorge Vargas Jr. gets the leg up. The horse's most recent outing came the 5th of September, Colonial, 5.5 on the green stuff in a main claiming event for 16. And the horse finished 3rd by 1 3/4 lengths that day. He was stalking the pace that day, a very wicked pace. He kind of hit the wall late, but you know, he ran his heart out there. Back to a claiming 10 down the class ladder. I think he has enough speed to hold up the other horses. I think he'd get away with it. 2 back on the dirt at Colonial, 6 furlongs in main 16. He finished 5th by 6 3/4 lengths. He set the pace, but then he just kind of hit the wall. You know, I don't think he's a great dirt horse. And then they tried him routing at Colonial, mile 16th inner and a main claiming 10. He finished 6 by 18 lengths. He showed the pace early on, but then he just completely crumbled. Put a line through that race. He just wasn't winning there. And then before that at Hawthorne on the lawn at 1 mile in main 1750. He finished 2nd by 3/4 length. He stalked, he had the lead, but then he just kind of hit the wall. I like him cutting back to a smaller 5 furlong trip. He could get a good easy lead if he wants it, or he can come from a stalling position. At 2-1, I'm actually going to single him in the pick 6. So we have 2 singles on the ticket. So to recount my selection for the 5th from the Meadowlands, let's take the 6 horse, get them digits. 6-1-2-4 for me in the superfecta. The nightcap now from the Meadowlands, the 6th race. Here we go. It is a claiming event going for a $19,000 purse. Race for fillies mares, 3-year-olds and upwards. Never won a race since April the 1st, or it's never went through races. Claim price of 5 grand. 7 horses are going 1,000 meters or 5 furlongs on the turf course. I'm going to take the 1 horse Moon of Love as a top selection. Let's go 1-4-6-2 in the superfecta. 1-4-6-2 super. Top selection of 1 horse Moon of Love. 5-year-old mare by Kodiak. Michael Stidham trains. Trevor McCarthy's in the saddle. The horse's most recent outing came 22nd of August at Colonial. 5.5 on the outer and a claiming 10. And he finished third by 3 3/4 lengths that day. He had a horrible beginning. Got bumped at the break. It took him a little bit of time to get going. He got up there early on, but then he just, kind of flattened out a little bit late. The comment line says he was closing. He was closing a tiny bit, but it was more flattening out, passing those tiring foes. Coming here today, hopefully with a better with a better break, I think he could really run a good race. But the break's going to be the key for him. 2 back at Colonial, 5.5 and claiming 16. He finished fourth by 4 lengths that day, and he just kind of stalked, but never really got going. Do think that was a very tough race. And then at Gulfstream late May, about 5 furlongs off to 32. He finished fifth by 6 3/4 lengths. That day he didn't break, which cost him. He never really got to the winner's enclosure. He hasn't won since 2021, early 2021, where he won quite easily. But if you look at some of the horses he's been facing in South Florida since then, it was a very, very tough competition. Coming up north to a softer turf course, which I think he should absolutely like. I think he could really run well. The 4-horse Mr. Masterpiece, I think, is your second likeliest winner. His races at Penn National haven't been half bad at all. I like that he come from a stalling position. His buyer's up to scratch when he wants to run. I'm going to use him on the ticket also to end off the pick 6. But to recount my selection for the 6 from the Meadowlands, let's take the 1-horse Moon of Love. Give kudos to the 4-horse My Masterpiece. 1-4-6-2 super. 1-4 in your multi race. So good luck to all. Please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingCat5. Good luck, everybody.